know this is Super Mex Hernandez, and you're watching Countdown City WrestleCast. Boom! I got it.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, joined this week by Tommy.
Ooh.
And, of course, we got Mike.
Mike, I love wrestling, and Cesaro at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, not this past weekend. Love always wins. Boom.
That was a hell of a match, though. It was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
You know?
It was.
Well,
I've got a hot take. I've got a hot take about something when we get there that I want y'all's opinion on, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Alrighty. Thank you, everyone, if you're joining us live. We do appreciate it. Feel free to jump in, live chat along with us today. If you're not able to join us live, you want to continue the discussion, our Twitter is at the bottom of the screen, at @CCG_WrestleCast. Tommy's looking right at it. Mike's pointing. It's like way down here. Way down here. Today, we're going to be recapping... Oh, let me get my thing up here. Recapping Impact, UnderSiege, and WWE WrestleMania Backlash. A lot of the good, a lot of the bad. The bad part mostly on Sunday, but that's another... We'll get more deep into that one, though, so...
It's a mixed bag. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk, yeah. Let us know your thoughts on both events, if you got to see them, what you think might be happening going forward. And when we get to that point, feel free to share your own WrestleCast ratings from 0 to 5 for UnderSiege and Backlash as well. We'll go ahead and start with Saturday's event, Impact UnderSiege, an Impact Plus exclusive. Mike and I know for sure we actually took advantage of the whole 2 free month ordeal. So we'll be watching this and Against All Odds for sure. And Tommy, I don't know, did you get to watch UnderSiege or not?
I didn't.
Okay.
I watched some clips later, but I didn't watch the whole now.
All right.
I'm going to you soon.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Mike, then I'll start with you. Your overall thoughts of watching the show. And obviously the presentation on Impact Plus has gotten a lot better. It's pretty glitchy the first time around last year. But your thoughts on the show overall, really?
I mean, it was another really solid show. The wrestlers there are always putting their all into it. The matches, for the most part, are great. Again, I kind of sound like a broken record when we talk about them. I know they can't do much, and I was actually thinking about this a little bit Saturday night. WWE and Impact are both doing shows in front of nobody. But with the Thunderdome, it feels like there's stuff there. And, you know, sometimes you forget that the fans can't actually see what's going on in the arena. You know, then they've taken advantage of that. Impact, I know they can't help it too much, but the empty feeling still just takes a little bit of it away from me. And I know they pipe in crowd noise. You know, there's stuff going on the whole time. And it's not the wrestlers' fault. The matches are great. You know, they're putting on exquisite matches. It's just it missing just that little something with the empty feeling of things. But I mean, that's really my only thing, and that's not much they can do about that right now.
Yeah, the crowd noise piping in is something they started doing again recently. I've never liked it, even when there's a crowd there. I mean, I have flashbacks to when Impact was dubbing over crowd reactions. So I associate that with Dixie Carter now, the later years before she left or sold the company. But I understand why they're trying to do it. I just don't think you should do it as obvious. I mean, obviously they're doing the best they can. They're running out of a studios in Nashville. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent to it now. I mean, I've seen how they did it before. When you can hear any crowd noise, you're hearing the ring bumps and this and that. But I see why they're doing it. If they're trying to call something in the ring, they don't want it to be all super obvious that everyone at home's going to hear. If he says, okay, 2 punches, body back, body drop or whatever, So I can understand that.
Yeah.
Hey, Bernsey, thanks for joining us.
The old number 4.
Yeah, right. Talking Under Siege right now. As far as the matches themselves, like you said, they were great. I think the longest match of the night was the 6-man tag with Eddie Edwards and FinJuice against the Elite, in which Eddie Edwards and FinJuice actually went over on that one after almost 20 minutes. So now one that when obviously we made our picks on this on Wednesday. Thursday is when Impact airs now. And we didn't know who Josh Alexander's opponent was going to be. And when it turned out to be El Phantasmo, I was waiting for Tommy to text me or message me, can I change my pick? Can I change my pick? You thought about it.
So, here's the thing. I so badly wanted to do that, but I was like, nope. Stick with what I said. And just write it out. I was wrong, but okay. But I'll say this.
Uh-huh.
No disrespect to El Phantasmo, I run because I'm wearing a Bullet Club shirt. I'm kind of glad he didn't win.
Okay. Why
because I think Alexander needs it a little bit longer. And I don't think El Phantasmo really needs it. Really. I think he's kind of an over X Division junior heavyweight guy as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That match was actually almost like a sleeper hit for me that night, really.
That was a really good match.
It was really good, yeah. Fire and Flavor, of course, reclaimed the Knockouts Tag Team Championship from Jordan Grace and Richard Ellering.
Random to me, but...
That was a little odd for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, like last week, I didn't really want to see them do the hot potato thing with the belt. So I mean, I don't know. I guess they get him back. Hopefully, they hold him again for a while. Then it's, you'd hate to see them lose him again in a couple weeks or something like that, and keep that going.
Yeah.
Y'all's theory might still hold some water.
Maybe hold them till around July 14th.
Well, July 17th, which is the date of Slammiversary now. We have an official date for Slammiversary that they have announced. So 3 days after the release, the Slammiversary, yeah. So.
And then
There's no way they don't plan that. There's no way they don't plan that. It's impossible.
And then the quintessential show up, or the archetypals.
Back on the thesaurus here.
Do you have a thesaurus page open right now just so you do this to me?
The awe-inspiring, the enigmatics.
That might not be a bad one. I like the enigmatics. That'd be pretty cool.
Jeff Hardy has something to say about that.
Yeah, well.
As long as they don't use Enigma.
Yeah, exactly.
Point out the fact that you, a math major, have a thesaurus open. I currently do not. There's just so much to this whole thing.
Well, you think I know the words on my own? I mean, I only know like 33% of the words, but then some of those words aren't even going to try. So you take my 66 and 2/3% of my words. Oh, wait.
I'm enjoying all the memes and TikToks coming out with that now, including my favorite one being a girl trying to follow it on a Zoom class, which is
it's her college class.
Okay.
But I love how she shows how it actually works.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was a good one. But if you try to work that in one more time, I swear I'm telling my DVD story again. I don't care what anyone says anymore.
It's the math. It's the Steiner math promo. It never gets old.
In all fairness,
nothing to do with that whatsoever. I want to do that.
It's been such a long time, and we've got so many more subscribers. Most of them probably don't know about the DVD story. I think it might be time to tell it again.
Save it for your 1 minute warning if you want to use it. Then that's fine.
Or we get Tina back on and share her managing story. Mm-hmm. Those are some classics.
Could be
those two stories.
Could be some classics. I'm sure she'll join us in the summer more once the school year's over. It's been crazy, yeah. So being a department chair, she is.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Well, next one I was gonna wait for Tommy, so we'll get to that. Just some other results real quickly. Brian Myers defeated Black Taurus. Taylor Wilde and Tennille Dashwood defeating Kimberly and Susan.
Those were kind of funny together.
Yeah.
Tennille
and Taylor.
I forget the dude that's with her. No, but I forget
Caleb
the dude
with a K.
There
Caleb
you go.
With a K.
And his stuff, and like she gets the win, and they go to like take a picture with her and like high five. Like it was some good dynamics there.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. W. Morrissey defeating Willie Mack. Good.
That was
Yeah, really
Yeah.
good. It's just looking good. I hope he stays clean and everything. Now,
Mm.
Tommy, you're back. So Ace Austin and Madman Fulton win the number one contender for the tag team championship. They're going to be facing FinJuice tomorrow on Impact.
Yes.
Which way are you leaning on this one? You love Ace Austin. You love your New Japan guys. What do you like?
But I'm leaning towards Ace Austin and Fulton. I really am, and I feel so bad to be betting against FinJuice. I really do. But they're just a solid tag team. It's like I'm one of the people who, when they first became a tag team, I wasn't entirely sold.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them work as a tag team, and now I'm 100%. And so, I think if anyone's got a shot of dethroning FinJuice, and I want it to be them. You know, that's why whenever, Gallows Anderson kept getting shot after shot, I was like, I really hope it's not them again. I really want it to be someone else. And Gallows Anderson can get them back later. I just want someone else to have them right now, is my point. Okay. So I hope it's Austin and Fulton, because I really do love their work. And they're working, where are the champions? AAW. They're really good there, so.
Okay. I had a weird theory pop. Oh, go ahead, Tommy. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a hard choice for me. When they won, I was like, crap, I have to choose now to show where my loyalty lies.
I had a weird theory pop in my head, and this makes me wonder. So when Phantasmo was going to be trying to challenge Josh Alexander for the X Division, of course he didn't win. And we've been saying it seems like there's nobody in Impact that can beat Deonna Purrazzo. We figure it's going to be somebody from like AEW, like Sheeta or Thunder Rosa. Had me wondering, what if at some point every single Impact title is held by somebody not an Impact? And that might be like the storyline for Bound for Glory or for a future pay-per-view, is Impact's wrestlers trying to get everything back. But what if that'd be an interesting, I don't know, that'd be an interesting storyline for Impact to pull something like that if they're working with companies.
I think you're right. I think I can see that happening. I don't think it'll be all AEW guys. Mm-hmm. I don't think. That's my thing. Yeah.
No, yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was going to say, it depends on how you do it, because honestly, I feel like overall, AEW has gotten the better of this partnership. I mean, they're obviously the bigger brand. They got more exposure. It's cool that, like, Kenny has shown up to wrestle a few times and some of those things, but I think you'd have to be careful how you do it. I guess I don't know how quickly or how easily the AEW guys wind up with the titles,
right?
So it doesn't just totally look like they're being dominated by AEW. And I understand the idea of like getting to the pay-per-view where you get them back, but even then, you're putting all that work in just to get back what was already yours. You know what I mean? So I guess it just kind of depends how they work this story. I feel like, honestly, given where the two of them are, it would make more sense to almost do some of the opposite and have Impact people come in and sneak in some of the AEW titles to kind of give Impact a little more, notoriety and some attention. But,
And what if it's not necessarily AEW? What if you have guys from like New Japan? Like Phantasmo was a good chance to possibly take the X Division title away from the company. Maybe even people in AAA, there's a lot of possibilities out there that they can run with this, so.
I would personally love, because I'm only bringing this up because he's been like literally everywhere like lately, is Rocky Romero. He's been doing like this, like showing up, popping in like everyone's promotion, which I'm all for, because if anyone could work all this relationships out, it'd be Rocky Romero. Okay. I would love that if they could do like a thing between Impact and Ring of Honor, and like, because that was kind of the only two companies, wasn't WWE in 2002, that you could watch. It was those two, then CZW, and like literally every other indie promotion you could think of. That was like that was the only real competition. And they did business for a while until it was the whole Rob Feinstein thing happened. And look that up, kids. But see that happen. It's like, like, hey, we were the only two other games in town. This was before New Japan had a global audience. This is actually back when New Japan was actually, their booking was kind of bad at this point. Like, and this is when even they were sending their guys to Ring of Honor and Impact to try to build up notoriety because their product, wasn't really known that much yet.
Right.
This is when no one everything, but like those two companies that everyone said would fold within the next 5 years. Maybe they're not like they're not the number 2 and 3 spots anymore. They're like 3 and 4 maybe, but they're still there. They're still they're still putting out good matches. I would love to see them finally say, "Hey, we lived through that. Let's do this together one more time."
Right.
Yeah.
Final main event was actually pretty relatively short, I think, for a 6-way match, but most of us predicting got it right that Moose wins the number 1 contender shot, and he's going to be taking on Kenny Omega at Against All Odds in about a month, the next Impact Plus event. So, go ahead, Tommy.
So just real quick, Moose won, and I saw a lot of people who think he doesn't have a chance at all against Kenny Omega, and I was just like, wow, I guess I just don't see the same Moose you guys do. I think if anyone has one of the best shots, it's him. So it's like people are kind of weird.
I mean, I think Omega gets this kind of cult following, not even cult following, like worship online from some people that he's just so much above. But I honestly think if you kind of listen to like him when he's not in character, I think he obviously is very creative and cares a lot about the business. I honestly could see him putting Moose over, especially because it's just for the Impact title. It doesn't affect his AEW title unless they, do some storyline stuff in the next month. But, to give Moose that big push and really establish him as a big Impact guy, and, you get your title back from the AEW dude, kind of like what you're saying with the storyline, but just focused on the main title.
Mm-hmm.
I think Omega would do that. For the betterment of everyone involved, and you can do a lot of story off of that. Maybe you bring Moose in for some AEW matches after that. I know we were talking earlier off JC about his contract, and there's a lot of talk around Moose and that. So, the idea that he has no chance, I'm not going to put it there.
I mean, that contract could still be a storyline in and of itself. And that's a very good possibility. Mm-hmm.
Well, see, my thing is, I honestly just believe that it might be like he, I personally feel like he'll win that Against All Odds, and like he'll take the belt to Slammiversary against whoever challenges him. And maybe it's an old like a Samoa Joe returning, getting a shot, or maybe it's someone Impact really already there, like I want to say Sami Callihan just because I love Sami Callihan, but I don't know. He might just show up at AEW and just beat the snot out of Kenny Omega one day, and that would be also hilarious.
That would be awesome.
I would actually totally enjoy that. And this is a guy who doesn't hate Kenny. I love Kenny Omega. It's just that he's such a snarky guy right now. Seeing the crap kicked out of him would be hilarious. So and Sami Callihan does that to literally everybody. So it's hilarious to me.
Even though Sammy's kind of. Just real quick, even though Sammy's kind of always just a heel and kind of, friends with nobody, could you see him showing up to back up or at least help against the Elite, Moxley and Kingston?
I could only to
definitely
a point, because he's like one of the guys who would do it because there's backup. It's like, I don't really like you, but I do need help against these guys.
I just think those three would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, almost like the kind of the relationship LIJ and New Japan has always said they had. It's like, we're both willing to fight each other, but because everyone else wants to kind of beat us up, we're going to stick together when we have to. But we're willing to fight each other. So yeah, that's how I've always felt. And I kind of love factions where it's like clear everyone doesn't trust each other, and they're more than ready to just touch each other. Like, it's just why I love Moxley and Kicks as a tag team, because I'm like about 98% convinced that they slap each other in the face before they go wrestle a match just to get themselves psyched up. So,
all right.
Wake up! So just
Now, as far as our predictions went, Mike went 2-2, and Tommy and I went 3-1. Just on the 4 matches that we picked for this show. So, but they set up a good amount. We'll see what happens tomorrow, and against all odds as well. Now, on to our WrestleCast ratings. 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, and 0 being December to Dismember. Mike, go ahead and give us your rating for Impact UnderSiege.
I'm going to give it a 4.25. Like I said, it was a really solid show. There wasn't really any bad matches. The Josh Alexander, the X Division match with Phantasmo was kind of like you said, it was a really good, almost like a sleeper match. Oddly enough, the main event, considering what was on the line, it just lacked something for me. Moose was kind of dominating at several different points, and I kind of had a feeling it was coming. I don't know. There was just something about that last match as the ending. It was a little lacking for me, but overall, there's nothing to complain about, really. It was a good show.
Okay. Tommy, I know you didn't see it, so I don't know if you're comfortable rating it yet. So, unless you want to.
Now, hold on. I might rate it later sometime. Retroactively.
Mike, I'm actually thinking the same thing with you. 4.25. It was pretty much on par with Rebellion. When I say that, it actually was the same rating I gave Rebellion. So that kind of works out. So that, great. Playback issue here. Weird. There's a minor playback issue on the Creator Studio. Hang on.
Oh.
All right.
Oh,
there it goes.
Are we still streaming?
We're still streaming.
There's
a playback thing. Okay. Anyway, this was a good show. The Impact Plus shows have been really good. I really hope that this is something they keep doing every month or when they don't have a pay-per-view. I think it's a good way for them to advance the story. Hopefully it's something they even potentially keep going once they get fans actually back in the studio or a live crowd and everything like that. So that would be.
They probably will with those because those tended to draw when they could do the exclusive shows and they could get the fans in. Those tended to draw pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our overall rating pretty easy, 4.25 for Impact UnderSiege.
Yeah.
All right, easy math. So.
Easy math.
Now let's move on to WWE WrestleMania Backlash, because why not? You know what? Let's just address the elephant in the room, because this is what everyone's going to be talking about, what everyone seems to have been discussing. Yeah.
Cesaro lost, okay? Oh, that's not.
Actually, I'd rather talk about that, to tell you the truth.
Well, I want to save that so they can bring us back up, because let's stay with that moments. But let's just address it. The lumberjack match, one of the more highly anticipated ones, but disappointingly, the lumberjacks turned out to be zombies, as WWE went pretty hardcore with this Army of the Dead cross promoting. I think the UFC kind of did similar thing with the cross promotion, but they didn't have zombies around the cage the night before. But this was really, really intense on this. When Morrison went backstage, opened the door to the lumberjacks, and I saw zombies walk out, I was like, please tell me that is all they're going to do as far as zombie related the entire night. But then Mike sent us a group chat. Yeah, Mike.
I thought that was the end of the show. I really did.
Yeah.
And Mike sent the group chat like, hey, do you guys see the zombies behind Michael Cole and whatnot on the screen? I was like, oh no.
So I only saw one. So I was like, they're letting a fan in zombie. I wasn't paying attention. I know they had mentioned the movie, but I was like, oh, someone's dressed up like a zombie, doing a gimmick behind him. That's kind of funny. And I was like, I wonder if he'll still be there when they come back. And then I want to point something else out though, that right before you get disappointed, there was a locker room door. The superstars having a locker room has been a thing in WWE for forever, right? The sign on the door. But can we just point out that it just said lumberjacks, as if these normal wrestlers had to move to a different locker room because they were intended to be lumberjacks for the match? The sign of the door just said lumberjacks. It wasn't supposed to be regular wrestlers normally. I just thought before it became zombies, that was kind of funny.
Makes me wonder if
Before we became zombies.
makes me wonder who else has a locker room back there randomly. Ghosts.
Yes.
Vampires.
Vampires, aliens from sci-fi.
Now look, for the match it was, and I don't know if this was the plan all along for them to do this. It might have been, but I don't know how far in advance Damian Priest and The Miz and Morrison had advanced knowledge that this was going to be the storyline and the type of match that they were going to have to run with. But WWE lost on this match in a couple of ways. One really big one. First of all, people ripped it online. People ripped it in the newspaper. I think the New York Post had an article about how bad it was and how it was one of the probably the most embarrassing things WWE's ever done. I don't know. I won't go that far. I'd say it a lot. I don't know if I'll go that far. I mean, they've done some embarrassing stuff.
Maybe of the modern era. I mean, we really can't touch some of the things they've done from the Attitude and that whole era. But modernly speaking, maybe.
Yeah, I'm glad at least that the commentators took off, so that they weren't ringside, because then they would have been like, okay, there's nothing going on there, right? So, but what the biggest loss I think was The Miz tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
In all fairness, that wasn't because of the zombies.
No, it wasn't because of the zombies, but. For a guy that has worked so hard in his career to be safe, make sure he wrestled safe, kept everybody safe, didn't sustain any major injuries because he wanted to keep, in the ring doing what he loves to do. It was almost like a fluke bump. Damian Priest does like kind of a spinning heel kick. Heel kick lands right on Miz's leg. I don't know if they confirmed if it's a partial or full tear of the ACL.
I haven't read either one.
I haven't seen anything. Yeah.
Yeah, the major difference on that is that that's a whole extra 2 months of recovery. If it's a full tear. So who knows? But the main thing here is like when Tina saw the bump happen, she was watching it with me, and she was wondering like, God, that doesn't look right. Like I know, what was his name? Ring of Honor, Punishment Martinez. I know he was like probably good and all. He's at WWE now, but I don't know what it is about him. He just seems kind of clumsy. For a tall guy, It's just a tall, kind of clumsy guy the way he wrestles. So, I don't know.
Maybe a little.
I say that because I don't know if Vince is going to trust him in the ring. I know it was kind of a fluke thing, but this probably might hurt Damian Priest's run in WWE because he injured one of the biggest stars that they have.
We'll say if it does, that's kind of BS because as much as I love Nia, do I get to finish that thought?
I want to say this in the nicest way too, but I think you're overestimating the way Vince sees the Miz, and I mean this more as a slight to Vince than to Miz.
Yeah,
because
I see where you're coming from.
Because I agree with you that he should be considered one of their biggest stars. He's always down to do anything for them. Promotion, interviews, media. He is hyping WWE in everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, that because he's not Roman or Drew or Bobby, that Vince is like, oh yeah, I'm glad that he does that, but I don't know if he thinks of him as like a top level guy. And I could be wrong. And that's, again, this is on Vince, not on The Miz. I just feel like, having watched wrestling for a long time, Vince is kind of more like, oh yeah, thanks for all you do. Oh, okay, you're not the top level guys. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Could be wrong, but that's just kind of the way I think Vince works in his mind when he does with this stuff.
Sometimes I agree.
Yeah. Say what you want, though. I mean, this guy's probably the biggest heel in the whole company. Maybe outside of Roman Reigns right now. But
who, The Miz?
The Miz.
Yeah.
He's the best at it.
Yeah.
Outside of Roman Reigns, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then it always.
So I mean, it's a huge loss. That's the biggest thing.
No, yeah, it definitely is, and the other thing comes back to what I talk about, where they don't let him be a serious heel enough. Like Roman's the biggest heel because he's like mafia boss, and he's like running everything, and Miz is like the chicken shit heel you'll throw in anytime you need a heel to kind of be silly or look silly, and then also put on a good match. And again, that that just goes back to talking up the Miz about how good he is. But I've always wished, back to when we were talking about the stuff with Lashley when he did win the title, that they would book him seriously as a threat. Miz, they never really do that. You know?
I think the thing is when it comes to the Miz is that he plays that role almost too well. That's probably why. Because when he's the serious and dangerous heel, he's great too. I mean, but I think where it's clear that everyone has the most fun is when he's the power heel. It's like it's he's having the most fun, the audience is having the most fun, and probably Vince having the most fun. That's kind of the he's kind of cursed because he's too good. It's like it's a gift and a curse. You're too good at this, Miz, and we can't tell you to tone it down because it's still making everyone money. So yeah. Back to the zombie thing real quick. I loved the number of people who pointed out that the Undertaker was a zombie, and I had 2 points. I was like, yes, people should have known that by now. And again, there are people who never made that connection, and that's sad because that should have been vastly obvious. But B, he kind of built that up over years, and it kind of worked because there was a really strong gimmick around it. This came so out of left field. It was just like a bullet. It was like, why?
I mean, I think when Undertaker first showed up at Survivor Series 90, he was a legit Undertaker from the Old West. I think that was clearly his gimmick. I mean, since then he's died about 6 times in WWE at least. But yeah, so then he's a zombie after that.
Hey,
but I mean,
who died more? Sean Bean or the Undertaker?
That's an interesting question. Who knows?
That's a good one.
Yeah. So.
But combined, still not as many total as Big Show turns. I think when Undertaker first showed up at Survivor Series 90,
there's very few things in life that equal that number of things that have happened in that regard.
The number of grains of sand in the world, not even close.
It's almost as equal to the many times Big Show starting.
Oh, I think he just turned twice in the past hour. So,
so never mind. Okay, my original number is all messed up. All
right, well, I'm not going to rip entirely on this, but it did bring down an otherwise decent show.
I agree.
Yeah, Mysterio and Rey and Dominic Mysterio winning the tag titles was a pretty cool moment. Kind of an easy call though when they took out Dominic backstage. Like, okay, he's gonna come in, they're gonna win.
Yeah,
So I mean,
so I was watching this live stream from the whole Cultaholic guys that I really enjoy, and the funny thing is, at first they were like, "Is he gonna get a new partner?" And so every partner they named though had to be a Mexican wrestler. They were like, "Who can come out?" Andrade's gone. Could it be who's the one down in NXT right now? Legado de Fantasma.
God, I don't remember.
Call his name.
I can't think of it right
Escobar.
now.
Yeah, Escobar. There you go.
Santos Escobar. Yeah.
They're like, could it be him? They're like, oh, what if they brought back Chavo? It's like, he could have a normal partner. I was like,
it doesn't have to be a Latino thing, guys. Come on, So
it could be Big E. It could be I don't know, like.
My favorite part about that saying is like the Latino people are saying like he can have somebody else who's not Latino.
Could be Canadian. Who knows?
But this is Vince's booking. Of course, the partner has to be Latino.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Other than that, it doesn't make sense. What is he going to team with a black guy? What kind of logic is that?
No, Vince is too busy having all the black guys fight each other.
Yeah, I noticed. Don't worry. That just gave her a hurt either. Because of her business. You can't have nice things! Okay.
Nope.
Let's see. Some other matches this evening. First of all, Ray Dominic was really good. except for the main event, that was the longest match of the night by about a minute on the other matches. And really good, it's a tag team there.
Yeah.
And it's actually a tag team that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So interesting to see how long they keep that title. Rhea Ripley wins the triple threat, keeps the title. Thank the Lord. I had a feeling that this match was intended to be on WrestleMania until the supposed Charlotte Flair Andrade situation, and they told her either your man or Mania, and she stuck by her guy. So
I'm just so tired of Asuka taking the pins in this, though. I'm glad I heard what happened on Monday, and thank God at least that once.
Mm-hmm.
It's dude.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I'm done. I'm gonna rant, and I don't need to rant. Go ahead. You're talking.
I don't understand Flair when she loses, because look, we'll admit, you look back, she's actually lost a lot more recently. Even though we complain about her and she's always thrown into the title picture, she does wind up usually, if not taking the pin, not winning multi-band matches. But like she lost, and she's just on the side of the ring, her reaction sometimes, and again, like we said in the group chat, this is all the character and how she's portraying it, because apparently Ashley Flair is a really nice person in real life,
right?
So I can't make fun of her for that. But I just don't get what the character is supposed to be doing or what it's supposed to be. Like she's just there at ringside, like she didn't win the match, so she's like just kind of fuming. I don't know. It's just weird. And but hey, shout out to the 101 Dalmatians outfit. So
Cruella de Vil, yeah. Which, considering the way they did the Army of the Dead, I really hope they don't full on 101 Dalmatians Cruella de Vil cross promotion when that movie comes out on Disney.
I mean, if Emma Stone gets involved, I'm cool. So
that's the point.
She could probably kick some ass. That's very true. So
yeah. Give that.
No. Let's see here. What else? What I want to talk about? Bianca Belair and Bayley. I don't think this is the last we're going to see of that. No, easily not. And I'm actually excited to see what else they do with that. What are they going to do? Are they going to be in the cell together? But Bianca
we
really
think they have a match.
By the way,
why they switched it?
That's why.
I think Mike, you sent us a report, or someone did, about how the switch might have been made because they have plans to bring a live crowd back in July. And for Money in the Bank, the idea is like if they're going to do it big, do it for Money in the Bank, which would make the most sense.
So, which is weird because you would think WrestleMania Hell in the Cell should be big, but I guess they wanted for WrestleMania Money in the Bank as the big people are back. So,
I mean, it's the 5 of the Big 5. It's it's the number 5 of the Big 5. It's not really.
Well, now it's the Big 12 because they've all got WrestleMania. Or maybe it's the Big 11 and then WrestleMania squared is the ultimate. Maybe that's on its own level.
You get into math problems, man. That's crazy. That's asking a lot of people to remember shit. So, let's see here. But that one, yeah, for sure. I think that's going to go on for a good while.
Yeah, and Bayley, God, she's just really found herself in this character, and I'm really just like, let her go. Yeah, let her do what she does. She's doing such an amazing job with it. Look, Belair doesn't need to be made to look good. I mean, she's obviously completely talented on her own, but with Bayley in there, it just makes her look that much better. Such a great story, very similar to what happened at WrestleMania with Sasha, and the heels keep trying to use her hair against her, and then in the end, she uses the hair against them. Yeah. WrestleMania was the whip. This one was using it to hold the leg, which was pretty ingenious.
Yeah, I think like sometimes with like Bayley and Bianca, you get people who just kind of naturally gel with each other. I mean, with some wrestlers they can make it work. It's not. But those two, it just work that way.
Yeah, they've done really well.
Yeah, so again, this is why Bayley should have had something to do with WrestleMania instead of jump to the belt or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all saw. Did we talk about this last week? Or maybe it was this week that it came out, where the second night stuff wasn't planned till kind of late in the game. Like they weren't even going to have her come out for all that stuff, but they saw how much reaction it was getting online, and people being like, "Oh, why is she not involved at all?" So I'm glad the
It's so
fans
sad
were able to do that.
It took them to the night of to make that connection. Like, what the hell? So
Yeah.
but,
And they're still shocked how much the Bellas got booed. I was like, really? You didn't think the Bellas were going to get booed, especially against Bailey? It's like, come on, people. Know your audience.
Yeah, no one cares if they're going to the Hall of Fame. They're just happy they're not wrestling anymore. That's the big thing with them, So,
yeah.
Let's see here. I really think that could potentially be a match in the cell next month, just because I want to see how Bailey potentially tries to tie Belair with her hair to the cage somehow, or even under the cage, and then just beat on her with that. So there's a lot of creative ways they can use Bianca Belair's hair against her in this.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the day when someone just flat out comes out with a pair of scissors and cuts it off, and then what is she going to do from there? So,
is British Beefcake? He's still alive, right?
I think
sounds
so.
horrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry the way I said that. I realize that.
To come anywhere near her or her hair with anything. I did the outcry.
I know that'd be the outcry, but it'd be a hell of a heel move. Like if they decided to change that up. So Lashley retaining the WWE Championship as we all predicted. No surprise there in the triple threat. And
okay, hold on.
What's up? Go ahead.
Don't jump over this triple threat.
Okay.
These guys said, "You think we're just a bunch of big men slapping meat? We're gonna pull off some shit." I'm sorry. Strowman doing the forward Bronton off the apron onto them. That was the Hurricane who called it on Twitter, the Bronton. McIntyre pulling out a Michinoku driver on Strowman. Like, these guys pulled some moves in the matches that you weren't expecting from them. I mean, you always know it's going to be a decent match, but I think these guys really were in the mindset that, let's give them more than they expect from us because, they think it's just going to be a big man, beating on each other match. They tried some stuff. It was pretty entertaining.
What they decided to do that? They decided to do that?
What?
We're going to have he's in a lumberjack match. Ashton was
we
like,
got to make it up.
Braun, Drew, come here. Okay, that's going to suck. So what we're going to do...
Bobby was like, look, that's already going to take about half a point off the rating from these guys. We need to at least get a 0.25 back from the half they took away. If we can get half of it back.
Oh, man.
I mean, he was wrong. Mm-hmm. So...
I will say I'm just excited that Lashley is still champion at this point. I hope he keeps it for a good while.
Yeah.
Although I also want to... Yeah.
Losing my...
Yeah.
I just want to see some new contenders, too, though.
Yeah. That would be nice for them to actually work somebody up. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's anybody on Raw right now that's going to make some noise to challenge at him,
Does it feel like there's another draft or something coming up? Like there needs to be one soon, maybe?
I feel like they just had one. That's the problem. They did. So it's like, and maybe when they did this roster, they drafted, it's like, this roster's heavily one-sided. But then again, they might have been getting pressure from Fox that, hey, we want these people on this show. We want these people here for the ratings. Like, we're putting all this money in you. And it's network TV. It's a bigger deal than cable. So I'm wondering if they got pressure from Fox to do this, and that's why they did it. But
you know what? Now that you say that, I'm disappointed that The Simpsons hasn't crossed over. They've been on Fox like a year now, haven't they?
I think so.
Pretty close. I don't know.
Pretty close. They did have a special Star Wars episode on Disney Plus featuring Maggie, like The Force Awakens from a nap or something.
With zombies. Now you want The Simpsons on SmackDown.
Oh my God, Tommy. Simpsons, zombies. Which would have been cooler? Come on. That's a no contest.
Okay. You're right.
Eat my shorts, man.
I will say this. This to me is like, again, is like the whole fault of people talk about AEW versus WWE, things that they like and don't like, and the this and that and everything. WWE should not have the problem of not having new contenders ready to go like out the gate. They should not have this problem. Should not have the issue of who's Who should we build up next? Who can we build up next? That should not be a question that they're asking.
I agree.
Vince has been doing this
definitely agree.
longer than most of us have been alive. This should not be an issue.
All right. Just want to let you guys know, the Geekcast guys were texting me trying to watch the show. Jell's letting me know there's a widespread YouTube outage. It's still coming up, our show. It's still broadcasting. We're going to keep going, and hopefully it still shows me that it's streaming and recording. So hopefully when this is over, the whole playback will still be there. But there's apparently a YouTube outage right now, and it's affecting.
Good job, YouTube.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
A YouTube outage.
Yeah.
That is a new one.
It's a new one.
Just for that, I'm going to say some copyrighted stuff and dare you.
It's zombies. It's zombies. Basically what it is.
It's zombies now.
Yeah. So.
Oh, did I mention earlier on when we were talking about the zombies that actually I read that Zack Snyder said the match was supposed to be 4 hours long, but they had to cut it because.
Well, then we'll see the Snyder cut of this on Peacock or HBO Max. It might be a joint effort. Hopefully they get it out before. Yeah.
If they release a full 6-hour cut of Endgame, I'm totally in. Let's move on.
Potentially there could be, right? Let's see if Disney does that.
Hey, you know what y'all didn't talk about last night that me and Tommy talked about?
What's that?
On Twitter? I can't remember names tonight. Nebula.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 Best match in the MCU.
Talking about it, honestly, I might do a whole video about that on my channel. But anyway.
Yeah, do it.
I'm not going to lie, I don't remember half what we talked about last night. I was so distracted by the Avalanche game. But go back and watch the show. You'll see why.
There was Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, go watch
Something like that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was pretty intense. But
UFOs. You said you hated the Snyder version. You were done with it. It was crazy.
I never said that. I know I never said that, you dick.
I know he didn't say that. We're just going off the rails because we know we're not streaming now. I know
it's okay. Well, let's try and talk about the main event. This obviously was the match everybody was looking forward to. Roman Reigns against Cesaro, going for a little over 27 minutes. Cesaro losing by technical submission, I believe is what the official decision is, obviously. Now, not the results that we all wanted as fans, especially Mike, but I think we can be somewhat happy with the show Cesaro put out there, because this was really his first shot in a main event, and if people have been sleeping on him before, they can't be sleeping on him now. You know, Mike, your thoughts on Cesaro being in that position and how he did?
I mean, he did amazing because it's Cesaro, and you put him in a wrestling ring, and he's just you do amazing things. I've kind of had this thought, and it kind of started back in his feud with Rollins, and he is so good at what he does that I think it actually works against him sometimes. Mm-hmm. He sells too well, and I noticed this back when some of the stuff started happening with Rollins, is that he'll take a move, he'll get hit, he'll get attacked, and he will sell it and sell it. And we talk about how some guys, don't sell well, that they'll get hit, they'll go on to the match, and they'll forget they're supposed to be selling injuries or being hurt. And he does it so well. I think at this main event level, he needs to be more selfish at times, because a lot of the big guys will, like Roman, will take some punishment and kind of no-sell it at first. Mm-hmm. And, your bigger guys will no-sell it first, not over the top, but because they're a big main event guy, and it takes more to get at them. And I think Cesaro is just such a great wrestler and so in tune to doing what he was supposed to do that I think sometimes he could actually, at this point, no sell earlier on in the match. Kind of be like, okay, you're going to need more than that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying they didn't have a back and forth. It was an amazing match. And obviously he was able to pull up some, the kind of underdog, spots toward the end where it looked like maybe he was fighting out of it. But he's almost too good at what he does sometimes. Reigns would hit him and he would sell it like Reigns murdered him. And it made Reigns, Reigns is in a mode right now where, again, he doesn't need either to be, made to look better, but the combination, like we talked about with Bayley and Belair, very similar here. It worked. I was actually shocked there was no involvement from the Usos, considering that whole storyline that just kept going. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, Cesaro knocked it out of the park. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
I think we all expected that if Roman was going to win, we expected some sort of heel shenanigans, some interference, something that's going to help him keep the title. But in essence, he went over clean for the most part, And
Mm-hmm.
I think what this is really doing and what they're really telling me, obviously, make Roman look strong, but in a heel way. They're pushing him not just to being a complete a-hole as a heel, but also as a legitimate wrestling heel. Like, he's going to beat you up that bad. He's not going to be the cowardly heel kind of character. Which tells me this man is keeping the title until next WrestleMania. And if he's going to lose it, it's going to be at that show.
Okay.
And I could see it being Cesaro at this point. I don't think Cesaro would be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Potentially he could be. But if he is, I don't want him to win that because I don't want him to get some sneaky cash in. I want him to win the Rumble. I want him to have that whole 2-month build into WrestleMania with Roman Reigns in a bit of a redemption for him. And he could win the title in Arlington or WrestleMania, and hopefully we can be there. See how it goes with tickets on sale, So I know if that's going to be the main event, Mike's going to find one way or another to get there, saving all his work PTO just to make sure he's there, But so
I'm going to find things around the house to start selling. Yes.
Yeah. Might have to sell the house. But
Anybody want a dog?
go ahead, Tommy. What do you want to say about the match?
I also think there's something to the fact that he basically made him pass out. There's that whole can't technically beat him type deal. Well, I mean technically yes, but he didn't actually make him tap out, didn't actually pin him. And part of me thinks that the whole overselling thing, which I agree, he's almost too good at. Maybe that's kind of playing into him losing now. Like, we don't want him to win right now because that would just be the, feel good story for us, and we probably wouldn't watch WWE for the rest of the year if that was the case. But I think maybe him doing all that now will kind of give him that, like, boost. I guess that's the word I want to use. The boost in the future. Like, I'm going to take on, next time, like, he'll take off that punishment. He won't really show that weakness, and the next time he gets to that guillotine choke, he won't pass out. He won't feel like that was way out of it. Kind of like like a lot of wrestlers when they're in, like when a wrestler has a known submission, they manage to fight out of it, and do it that way. Like you said, maybe WrestleMania next year. I sincerely doubt SummerSlam for some reason. I don't see it happening there.
No.
Survivor would be the earliest I could possibly see it.
No, I think they're going to use this opportunity to make sure Roman carries the title for over a year. Potentially...
Lesnar did it. That made no sense.
Yeah,
So,
Lesnar did it, but potentially passing at least CM Punk's record when he was defending it all the time at 434, So, I mean...
So Betty!
That's the only way they can look at it. But, and I see him keeping it to SummerSlam. I don't see anyone right now taking it off of him until you get around to Mania and it being Cesaro. So... and potentially whoever wins the Money in the Bank, if it's somebody from SmackDown, if they challenge Roman, they're going to lose. That's just going to solidify Roman as just a badass heel at this point. He's badass from the way he handles himself, So,
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to see that long without any losses, but I don't know. Another thing that kind of worries me too, though, is the way the show ended.
With Rollins?
Yeah.
That was weird. Yeah.
I don't know if they're writing him off with an injury now, because, he sold the arm the whole match, and actually in the guillotine, if you noticed, he was using that arm to try and push out of it, and he had him going, like, he had his arm for a while, but then it kind of like he didn't have the strength in the arm. So I don't know if they're writing him off with an injury angle for a little bit to give him a little, like, the comeback. Or next month is WrestleMania Hell in the Cell. Seth and Cesaro in the cell would be a hell of a match. I'm a little bit worried about him continuing with Rollins because he's won twice.
Well,
And I feel like at some point you're going to want Rollins to get that win back, and that's not going to do Cesaro any favors. I can't see them keeping Rollins involved to just lose again. I'm a little worried about that. And again, this just goes back to me. I have no trust in WWE bookings. Like I'm amazed that it's gone this far. I can't even consider the possibility yet that, you know, your idea of him being the one at WrestleMania to unseat Roman after a year. I don't believe in WWE that much right now. I wish it would be true, but I can't.
It's understandable considering how WWE's booked things in the past, but I think this is the storyline you can't get wrong if you do it right. As far as Rollins, I know it'd be weird to have a heel versus heel for the title, but I feel like Rollins did that because he wanted his own shot at the title, and he just kind of pounced on a wounded duck. So, but, you know, Rollins versus Roman right now really just doesn't make any sense. You have two guys that are like despised heels, and that's hard to work a match that way. The only conceivable way to break is the Usos somehow break away, and then you get Rollins and Roman against the Usos or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be pretty
cool. So, but we'll see down the road.
A two-thirds shield.
Yeah, right. It's shit. Anyway, I love what Cesaro presented. I love what he brought, and in some ways, he brought this pay-per-view back up. Because it was riding high when the Mysterios won. It went way low with the zombie thing. Got a little bit higher with Bianca and Bayley. Bobby Lashley kept it about the same way, but this match really was a good way to end it. But it came back a little bit down with the way it went off the air. Because I feel like Rollins took away from what was a great match, honestly. It was a great match, and just having that to advance the storyline, I feel like you could have just opened Raw the next day with that somehow. And it would have touched.
Well, Rollins wouldn't be there.
Oh, that's true.
There's SmackDown.
That's right. I forgot about that.
What's that?
There was one legitimate critical claim to AEW that I actually agree with, and that's sometimes how they overbook their endings. And I agree with that. Sometimes they do that too much times. Mm-hmm. How WWE took the one criticism that's actually worth listening to with AEW and did the exact same thing, I just cannot understand. It's the one thing they do that I actually am like, okay, they should stop that. That's the one thing WWE had not been doing lately. And what do? They said, you know what? We can do that, but worse. And I'm just like, you had the one thing over them that they weren't doing. You had one job. Overbook the end to your show. It was literally the one job you could do, and you'd always have that over them.
Tommy,
you messed it up.
They said we threw literal zombies into the show. You think we care? Like we'll do all the bad booking in one night. Just dare us.
Here's what I'll say for the record. This gives AEW a pass for the ending of Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
A, that wasn't bad, and B, this was the response. That gets the complete pass. I don't give a damn. That's a pass.
Not just Blood and Guts, but the barbed wire bombs and everything like that. The way that didn't go off as well as it planned, you know. So it's
okay. The barbed wire bomb I don't count anymore because of how they corrected course by admitting it was admitting they made a mistake with that, and B, the fact that we now have the forever meme of Kenny Omega yelling 69 me Don, and I just can't unhear that no matter.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever. I think that might have been the strangest thing on TNT in the history of that channel. Mm-hmm. Anyways, you also just made me think of the way they should have done the zombies and a way you could have got back at AEW. You have Miz and Morrison and Damian. No, well, Morrison.
Priest.
He was behind the guardrail, but Priest. Yeah. You have them escape the ring once all the zombies are inside, and you blow up the ring.
That would have been actually really good.
And then you take your shot at AEW in the exploding ring. You get rid of the zombies that everyone thought was ridiculous. It would have been hilarious.
And if any are left, Mila Jovovich runs out and takes them all out, Resident Evil style. Although when Damian Priest was punching out zombies there, I was thinking, all right, he's trying out for the next Resident Evil movie. So
To be fair, Mila Djokovic can appear on my screen for any reason at any time. I legitimately don't care what. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I second that. All right, well, we'll see if all these criticisms and plus points, let's see how they do in the WrestleCast ratings. First of all, our pick results. Mike went 4-2, and Tommy and I both went 5-1. So, again, WrestleCast ratings from 0 to 5. Mike, what is your rating for WrestleMania Backlash?
Okay, one quick thing, and I told you this when we signed on. If I would have picked with my head, I would have gone 6-0. Because I knew it was going to happen, but I had to go with my heart.
6-0, actually, so...
Yeah. So I want to give it a better grade, honestly, than UnderSiege, except for the damn zombies. So, like, I'm going to give it a 4.24, and that's completely on the zombies. You take that away, I probably would give it a 4.5 as an overall show. But I'm going to be that petty. I'm going to Price is Right this by 1. 4.24. You did the zombies. I'm sorry.
I think it's the first.
While this is recording,
that's the first 4.24 in this show. His shit's great. I'm gonna say,
all on the zombies.
Look, I said it because of the zombies. UnderSiege was the better show of the weekend. But it's not. But Backlash is not 4.24 good. Had it not been for Cesaro and Roman, this would have been in the 3s. So I'm giving it
with the zombies.
Huh?
With the zombies.
With the zombies. This would have been maybe like 3.5, 3.75, somewhere in there. But because Roman and Cesaro put on a hell of a main event, and I liked where the future of Cesaro could be going at this point, it seems to me like they're investing so much more in him since the contract re-signing. I'm giving this a 4. Just straight up 4 flat on that. And that's kind of where I'm holding it. So I think I have it on the same level of Elimination Chamber from this year. So, all right, Tommy, what about you? What's your rating for this?
A solid 4 for pretty much the same reasons. It's like it wasn't the worst show, but just something just didn't sit right with me. And you'd argue in internet argument with yourselves about as to why, but it's just a 4 for me.
Okay. That actually puts our overall rating for Backlash at 4.08.
That's new.
Yeah, that's new. Thanks for that 4.24. That's hilarious.
Look, guys, if Miz and Priest would have had a normal lumberjack match, I think I would have got this a 4.5. Like I said, because honestly, I mean, that main event was amazing. I love what Bayley was doing. Even the Raw's match we talked about a little bit, but once that match got going, that was actually really across. It was a great show, but you had zombies, man, and it wasn't like a joke in the back, like we said. It was like they were the lumberjacks and they were part of the match, and that's.
I think one thing that a lot of fans, a lot of people who are critical, people who are critical of this, they don't get is like, had it even been like Bray Wyatt, I still don't think it would have made it as well. Now, if you could convince me he mind controlled some lumberjacks to do what he said, I believe that because that's what Bray Wyatt's been doing. Even the other stuff, he at least had druids, and he didn't have really zombies. He had druids, and then he had the ministry of guys he legitimately kidnapped and mind controlled because that was creepy for a solid year.
No, I agree with you. Like, when it's part of the characters and it's Bray Wyatt, it's Undertaker, you understand some stuff because that's part of the character and it's for the show. This was literally just we're cross promoting. So I've seen on TikTok and Twitter and stuff people bringing up some of the other ones like RoboCop from WCW back in 1990 with Sting. I was like, yeah, but RoboCop was cool. Like, he added to the show because he busted Sting out of that little cage they locked him in. There was also a Monday Nitro with Chucky and Rick Steiner, where Chucky cut a promo on the screen. That's bad. That's just horrible. But no, these zombies, it was just. I mean, they weren't part of WWE's show. They were brought in to cross promote, and it wasn't it.
Yeah.
this way. The Muppets once hosted an episode of Raw.
That was
They did-
amazing. That was one of the.
Beaker and Sheamus are related. But anyway,
First of all, that was actually pretty entertaining because of the Beaker Sheamus promo. That was great. I just love that they.
Best.
And then wasn't there something with one of the divas, Kermit and Miss Piggy?
I believe so.
The Bells, I think.
Yeah.
There's the Bells.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, the Muppets is pretty cool. Can't
Of
lie
course.
on that one. Now, what's next for WWE? They do have NXT TakeOver in Your House coming up on June 13th. WWE Hell in a
But it
Cell.
doesn't have WrestleMania in its title?
Yeah.
I'm
No.
shocked.
No, NXT is not a part of the main show until they need it to be. So
Yeah, exactly. Until they need a boost in ratings. WWE Hell in a Cell, June 20th. And WWE Money in the Bank, tentatively slated for July 18th. So what this means right now is that there's going to be 2 weekends in one in June, one in July, where we're going to have Impact and WWE in back-to-back nights. Against All Odds, June 12th, NXT TakeOver in Your House on June 13th. And then in July, as it stands, Slammiversary July 17th, which is going to have all the surprise returns based on the 90 days being over. And then WWE's going to have to follow that with Money in the Bank, which, as people are anticipating, may be the return of live crowds for pay-per-views for them. So,
when does Impact usually do their Feast or Famine matches? Because that would be great to do the night before Money in the Bank. Where you have, like,
I
4
wanna
briefcases hanging?
Say that's around Bound for Glory, like either September. I know Bound for Glory is October, so I
Okay.
think it's like in September or something like that. I don't
It would just be hilarious the night before Money in the Bank to pull off
if
that
they
match.
pull the Feast or Famine thing. Yeah, no, Slammiversary is more the celebration of the company as well, and just they got their big event, but it's still not their biggest show. But this is
I
turning.
can't unthink it. And like, I kind of want it to happen.
Yeah.
Like, now he said I can't see it.
Maybe they'll do a King of the Mountain match or something for Slammiversary, but the Slammiversary is starting to turn into Return to the Company
match.
night.
I don't care.
It's Return to the Company surprise debut night, basically, on Impact. So, a little bit of wrestling news. RCW, if you don't know already, has announced they are returning June 27th. I forget the name of the venue. I think I have it up here in front of me. Here it is. Oh, Grand Event Center.
Yeah, there you go.
Event starts at 5 p.m. Doors open at 4. Tickets starting at $20, but I believe the front row has already sold out.
Yeah.
So there's still some second and third row available, and then GA. RCW Recharge is the event. Go check out rivercitywrestling.net or their Twitter at RCW Forever for links to buy tickets. They have a pretty decent card lined up. Everyone's, that some of them high profile people are returning. And this is going to be fun. I'm very excited that live wrestling is coming back, even on the independents. Hoping I can make that show. I'm very excited for Brandon and everybody
Yeah, I would
else
like to
involved with
too.
that. Mhm.
Yeah.
I believe Heavy Metal's got an event coming up too. Like, man,
Like-
hell yeah, man. Yeah,
They're like making a weekend out of it.
Yeah.
And it's like me and talking. It's like, who's trying to go to all their shows? And I was like, woof.
Mhm.
Try, man, but
Props to Dylan for that, too. Yeah.
And for one of the shows, I think it's one of these shows coming up. They've announced casting Noah Valentine versus Jeff Gant. We're saying is, well, Jeff, you had a good run of life. You did your best.
I'm surprised he's not dead
If you
already.
have to go,
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know Jeff Gant still wrestled.
I'm
I'm
surprised he hasn't been broken in half at this point.
I didn't mean it like a bad thing. I haven't heard that name in a bit.
Yeah.
He has played up the hatred that the crowd gives him big time. Like, it doesn't take much. He just walks out
Yeah.
and the hatred.
Yeah, I still want to knock his ass out. He put his hands on Tina one time in an ECW show, and I did not like that very much. So, but
Yeah,
that's another
gotcha.
story. Title changes of the week. As we know from SmackDown Tag Team Champions are now Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Natalya and Tamina on SmackDown won the Women's Tag Team Championship. Congrats to them. Very excited, especially for Tamina. She hasn't held a lot of gold in her career.
I think that's her first title, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so, right?
Because there weren't a lot of women belts other than the main belt. So
Yeah, very big
See,
congrats.
to me, like I love. Well, I love this for several reasons. Of course, to me, is one of my frightening crushes. She scares the crap out of me, but I love her anyway. But it's also, to me, it's the same thing like when Yoshihashi in New Japan won the never open weight belt, which, to my surprise, They still have. I could have swore they were going to lose those things like the very next day, but they still have the belts. But it's like it to me. This once again proves championships do matter because like when Yoshihashi was so thrilled to get a belt, in New Japan, and to me it's just happy, and I'm happy it's her and Natalia. My one criticism, because I have to point this out. I don't care. Why did this not happen at Mania? What was the honest what was the grand storyline that where this couldn't have happened at Mania?
They needed a few more weeks of Reggie dancing and doing.
Couldn't have happened
pretty much because Vince
I
McMahon's
don't know.
looking at this shit. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Current 24/7 champion is Akira Tozawa. He hilariously beat R-Truth last night, sneaking behind him from a staircase while he was giving an interview, which is pretty funny. R-Truth is like closing his eyes, like if I can't see you, you can't see me, kind of thing.
So real quick, just like Mike said, he forgot Jeff Getz to wrestle. I forgot Akira Tozawa was even still in WWE. I was.
What do you mean? He's a mainstay of the 24/7 division.
Damn right, man. It's either him and
If
R-Truth.
that's a division.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a division.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's still there and still getting the check. By all means, I'm happy for him. But I was just like, I thought Vince would have fired him because Vince forgot he was there too.
Yeah.
Mind.
You know what?
Oh, here we go. Okay, come on. All right, excellent connection. So I think we're back up now.
And I was like, why were there so many bodies there, man? But anyways, I'll never tell that story again. Oh, are we back? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we're back.
Sorry.
Sorry, little blip.
Allegedly.
As if YouTube couldn't have enough going on last night. Apparently, playback issues for everybody, and then my video driver.
WrestleMania payback? Oh wait, no, it's another.
Yeah, this is payback on our show, basically. So,
I swear.
Yeah, but I think we're back up. So
you should swear. It helps you.
If you're watching, I really hope you are. Everything appears to be working. So comment on us. I know some of you guys might have missed it already, so I'm just going to put our ratings back up on the screen again in case you did miss it. For UnderSiege, we gave it a 4.25 out of 5. WrestleMania Backlash overall was a 4.08 out of 5. Thanks to Mike's 4.24 rating for Backlash.
I price is right at that.
He did. Anyway, back to the other title changes of the week. I've already mentioned the SmackDown Tag Team Channel, Women's Tag Team Channel 24/7. Shortly before we actually started this broadcast, the NXT North American Championship changed hands. Bronson Reed defeating Johnny Gargano in a steel cage. Really good match.
That's cool.
I missed the ending of it, but it's been really good from what I've seen so far. A lot of the reviews, I'll definitely go back and watch that.
I'm just wondering, like, what has Gargano not done? Like, what it's. He's been him and Adam Cole to me are like both Mr. NXT.
Yeah.
What more can they do? So.
Agreed.
I honestly at this point it's just like we'll do whatever because we don't want to go to main roster and be lost. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's what else is there than to say but that? Like we'll do whatever. Like it's just we know what going up means.
I'm
pretty much
convinced you're right. It's like I personally. See, this is to me like a lot why a lot of guys I don't want to leave places like Impact, like Ring of Honor, because they lost in the shuffle. Like I remember, true story. I remember when Keith Lee got signed to WWE. I was real happy for him, but I was worried about Shane Taylor because because he hadn't said if he was going to or like that. So, but I'm happy he stayed in ROH because, as you can tell, he's done pretty well for himself. And he's not a guy who gets lost in the shuffle. He's a guy, and even with the 6-man tag belts, they do a pretty good job. Him and the SOS. Mm-hmm. It's like even if you get watched this past week, I think they faced a team called Primal Fear for the belts and the title defense. It was actually a really good match. But it's just like that's the problem with the main roster, especially if Vince doesn't. I think I'd rather have Vince not like me than be indifferent towards me. You know what I'm saying? I think I'd rather have Vince hate me.
You'd rather at least he knows you're there, kind of thing. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Final two title changes. Obviously, Fire and Flavor winning back the Knockouts Tag Team Championship at UnderSiege, and Miro defeating Darby Allin on Wednesday at Dynamite, ending the current longest reigning Mike, I see your comment on YouTube. The longest reign of the TNT Championship short history. Go ahead.
I'll say this. I'm sad Darby lost. I'm happy Miro won. But damn it if Darby didn't go out like a freaking G. Like, he took an immense amount of punishment in that match. And that final game over, I have never seen him ever hit that move like that. Like, he broke my boy. Like, I was just like, that's a hell of a way to go out, man. As a fighting champion Darby's been, that's how he should have lost.
Yeah, that's why I like Darby so much as a character. Is he puts his all in the ring and everything. It's pretty awesome. So, I don't know if he's going to stay in the TNT Championship picture. I'm hoping this is moving on to other things. Maybe a tag title run with Sting if they want to put him and Sting together as a tag team or something. But
I mean, Ethan Page and the Scorpio Sky have been screwing with both of them for weeks now. So I'm sure they're going to have a show.
Darby's already put Ethan's name on a skateboard, so he's already marked Ethan as next on his list. So, but that I'm looking forward to. I'm here for it. That would be a hell of a feud, whatever they're working with. So, and then my Discord freezes momentarily. So
that would be really awesome.
Yeah. All right. So one final bit of wrestling news, and this was a sad one. And honestly, I had the same feeling that Paul Heyman did. If you haven't seen Paul Heyman's thoughts on this from Talking Smack, it's on YouTube. Yeah. But ECW legend, original New Jack, passed away very suddenly. Was only 58 years old. Want to say that they said he had a heart attack and just never recovered from it. And a lot of the stuff they saw about the documentary they did about him on Dark Side of the Ring, I've seen the snippet go around, like, if this was your movie about your life, how do you want this to end? And all he said was, just put a picture of me sitting in a wheelchair, snort crack. That's all I want. Just just do that. That would be his thing. But Paul Heyman said he doesn't like to give eulogies, but if he said he really hoped when he got the news that New Jack was sitting there thinking, you know what? Just tell everybody I died, just so he could see how people would eulogize him, and then he's like, "Hey, gotcha," And
I remember when he said that. I remember when he said that. I was thinking, man, that'd have been great. That'd have been so New Jack.
Mm-hmm. And part of me really hopes that's still the truth, but sadly, it's not. He has passed. There's been tributes all over. By the way, Paul Heyman realizing we didn't have the rights to any music we had in ECW because we were gangsters like that, which is great.
I'll openly admit that was by far one of the best of that whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the statute of limitations is long gone anyway at this point, so who gives a crap, right? Yeah. But what is there to say about this guy? There's so much crazy footage in the WWE Network library that we wonder if Peacock hasn't censored it already. If you go back and look at some of the old ECW pay-per-views, but he was insane.
Why would you think that there's ECW pay-per-views up yet? It's Peacock. They probably won't be up for
not till August, 2 or 3 months. Well, when they do come up in August, let's hope they don't censor it, because the guy's a legend. He was just insane. That mark on his forehead was well earned. I'll just say that much from what he's done. Go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
Well, no, I was actually going to say, Tommy, I read what you put online, and I think I think I share a lot of your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't have a lot of knowledge of ECW when it was going. I never was really able to watch it. And JC, you know me too from growing up. I grew up very conservative, so
yeah.
I don't think I would have taken to New Jack even at that time when it was coming out. But again, it's one of those things as you get older and you see things. I mean, he did seem to walk a very fine line of things, but I think that when enough of your coworkers, your contemporaries, the people who really knew you, said so many good things, I mean, I think that's a pretty good sign that somewhere behind that character of New Jack was, a good man or someone for the most part. But, like you said, Tommy, he also said a lot of things There was a lot of incidences in ECW and other things that were very controversial what he did. So, I mean, you never want to see someone, die young or die before they need to. So it was a really interesting. I was just trying to think of how to deal with it. I think you put it really well. So,
Yeah. Well, because my point was, it was like when I made that status, I said, you know what? Because I've been going back and forth about what I was going to say. Because a friend of mine, we talked about it when I met him, and she was like, "I thought you weren't that big a New Jack fan." I was like, "No, I'm a fan. I just don't always agree with what he says." But in truth, I think when I posted that sentence, I was thinking the same thing. You know what? This is kind of how he was all the time. Yeah, I love the guy's performer, love what he did in the ring, but you know what? I didn't always agree with him, and I think, if anything, that's being attributed, that's showing respect to New Jack as a person and as a character. Hey, I know what you said. I don't think you were right, but you know what? Damn it, you were great. I think by keeping that honesty, by saying I didn't always agree with you, I didn't always like what you said, but damn it, you were great. Is New Jack all day long, because New Jack didn't pull any punches. He said what he thought. So so when I posted that, like, this is what I think. Didn't always agree with him. Didn't always like what he said. Time guy gave me a lot of memories. Got to meet him once. He was super chill guy, super nice. He didn't just pop off at the mouth just because. And that's one thing that when I met him, that's what that told me. It's like, if he didn't say nothing just outlandish just because he was standing there, that means that sometimes he just gets to the point. He's like one of the people who I know, when you get to a point, they don't censor themselves anymore because you pushed them there. Kind of like that whole what's a Big Angel thing with with the fall from the scaffold and everything, which is bad. I think he was 100% in the wrong, but you expect the guy who's that crazy. If you don't expect crazy back, you weren't paying attention to him. Period. I will say this, like, some of my favorite memories of his, concerning him, was one. There was like this whole interview. I don't know if it's still on YouTube anymore, of Raven and the Sandman, and he just like kind of crashes the interview while they're having it and just like stays the whole thing. It's hilarious. So if you find it on YouTube, it's pretty funny.
There's a lot of memories and people that, if you're not familiar with New Jack, and you're probably not going to be able to see it on the Peacock Network right now, but I'm sure you can find a lot of footage online.
Find the old ECW release DVDs. You know what was a really great moment? When Jerry Lynn won the world title the night he won it, he was supposed to be the special guest referee, but he got held up and couldn't referee the match, so Justin Credible had one of his own referees. And as he was about to count the 3 on Jerry Lynn, that's when the song "They Had No Rights to Play" blared through the speakers. And it's like, it's funny to go back and watch it because, like, wow, they had no rights whatsoever, yet this entire crowd is singing this.
Maybe that's how they got around it. The crowd would just sing the song, so they would just, would drown it out, so that kind of thing. But,
yeah.
All right. We'll get from here. Rest in peace, New Jack. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for so many of the memories and so many nice words. Yeah. Paul Heyman doing that. That was very emotional on that. Yeah, it was very touching what he said. Now, let's get into our 1 minute warning segment. 1 minute warning segment here. Mike, do you have something this week for the 1 minute warning?
I actually don't this week.
Okay.
I said pretty much what I wanted to say about Cesaro and Bailey in particular is, the two I'm biggest on right now. So,
yeah.
All
right. Tommy, do you have something this week?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. You're ready.
All right. Timer's going to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me shout out again Yuji Nagata and Jon Moxley for this past Wednesday on Dynamite. I just love, first of all, the cross promotion with New Japan, the IWGP US belt getting more airtime, and of course Yuji Nagata. He's legitimately one of the guys who I said you can't go wrong with him in a match. Sue me. The main thing I want to bring up is Cyber Fight, which is the company that owns Pro Wrestling Noah, DDT, and Tokyo Joshi Pro. They're having a huge super show coming up with their 3 main title belts on the line. I can't remember who's ever. I was trying to see if I could find it before the minute came up, but it's a huge show coming up, and it's just I'm just really happy that Noah's still going. I'm happy DDT's getting more and Tokyo Joshi Pro. And it's just more wrestling. It's a great time to be alive. And also Cyber Agent, like as their real parent company, they're putting all this stuff on their version of a network called Wrestle Universe. It's like 3 or 4 or 5 companies for about the same price as like the New Japan World and everything. So if people are interested in more wrestling, there you go.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I wonder if we might see companies in the States or like if Ring of Honor and AEW and Impact teamed up to put a network together or something like that. That'd be interesting.
I would love that.
Yeah.
But so
very cool, very cool. I'm actually going to address something that if you were watching the Geekcast last night, I'm going to reiterate this again, but if not, then just listen up here. I've heard some people are not exactly sure they want to see The Miz playing Johnny Cage in a sequel to Mortal Kombat. No martial arts experience this side. Look, The Miz has been playing Johnny Cage since he started this whole A-list gimmick. Only he's been doing it as a professional wrestler. Now, if I've learned anything about The Miz from watching the WWE 24 about him, it's that whatever Mike The Miz Mizanin puts his mind to, he's going to do it. From being in reality TV that just got him there, to finding out how to be a wrestler, going to the right wrestling schools, getting the training, and working his way up. But all people flagged him out as a reality TV guy. And he spent his entire career proving him wrong. And I have no doubt he's going to come out of this torn ACL even stronger than he has before. He's going to be back doing what he does, annoying people, wrestling, doing great things. And it wouldn't shock me that if he still auditioned, still with one knee, still got the Johnny Cage part. And when he's fully healed, he'll do whatever martial arts training he needs to do to play Johnny Cage, and he would kill that role. You cannot mess this casting up if you cast The Miz as Johnny Cage. He's already proven he can do it. So,
I'm shocked that people think that he can prove it.
And I think I just figured out what would make it perfect. Johnny last name, Morrison, Nitro, is his hype man at Mortal Kombat. He is Johnny Cage's hype man for each match at the tournament.
That would actually make it absolutely perfect.
Mortal Kombat, you need to create a new character with multiple last names. Like right now, it's Johnny Drip Drip. So put him in the game, like Mortal Kombat 12, and before every Johnny Cage, who is now the Miz fight, he's just hyping him up, and they're doing raps. Like it works. I'm there.
But in instances, he's hyping him up. But like what day he goes by changes whatever costume you put on Johnny Cage. Mm-hmm. Like Johnny Cage's different costume, that's the different outfit. Yes. See this
Johnny Nitro, he's old. Yeah, that would work.
Nice.
The old Miz.
See, here's the thing. I can't believe that we're still talking about things that the Miz can't do. Like I can't believe there are some people who keep saying the Miz can't.
People still want to rip him because all they remember about him is a reality TV guy. But he took that and did something with that. And there's not a lot of people that get reality TV and do something with it. So.
Well, I get casual people who don't watch wrestling who don't get that. I can almost let that go. My thing is with wrestling fans who say like, well, he can't. No, have you never seen this guy when he cuts a promo for real? Like the crown jewel of his promo skills, which by the way is an arguable point, but this is mine. If you want to have a different one, more power to you. You're probably right. My crown jewel of his promo work was the time he said, I'd rather you hate me for something I am than love me for something I'm not. I said, this man just set himself into the stratosphere if he can keep this up, and he did, and he is. Mm-hmm. Not a race, for God's sakes, people. I think
I'll also put his Talking Smack interview with his promo on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
I know it wasn't like in a wrestling match, but yeah, that was also...
Which was really, most of it was unscripted. They completely ad-libbed it. They said, here's where we want to go with it, and go. And then he's arguably got the best. He's got one of the best TV shows on TV right now, Ms. and Mrs., which just had the season finale. Damn near hilarious. Just this past episode, I'll let you guys know it's worth watching if you haven't seen the whole season. Because they've had their 2 kids, because they're done, Miz is thinking about getting a vasectomy. So Morrison, Ziggler, Ryan Cabrera, and Alexa Bliss is there too. They have a roast for Miz's balls. And his dad is there and has some really good zingers about it too. So that it's pretty hilarious. Even to the point where Miz's dad gets on Dolph Ziggler's own video podcast as like an Ed McMahon type thing.
Nice.
Just go check it out. I mean, it just had the scenes finale, but Miz and Mrs. is just so hilarious. It's really, really funny. Even if you don't like reality TV, even if you're not a fan of the Miz, this show itself is just so entertaining and worth watching. So
before we sign off, Pro Wrestling Tees has a in memory of Jack's shirt that they're selling, and proceeds are going to his family. So yeah, so just
cool. Yeah, go check that on ProWrestlingTees.com. And I'm tempted to get on WWE Shop and see if I can get a Miz t-shirt right now. I know the only ones that are really available in my size are the custom print ones, but it'd be great to support him while he's recovering from an injury. It's so difficult for WWE stars to be having a major injury and off TV because they don't really make a lot of money because they're not selling a lot of merch or not making appearances. So
yeah, but you could easily, especially for a couple more weeks, bring him backstage. Mm-hmm. Depending on how much he's on a crutch or in a
do a Miz TV segment from the stage or something like that. Yeah. So
or even if he has to use one of those little scooters, like make it a whole part of the,
Which, by the way,
Morrison or whatever Johnny's current name is, and just do that.
Yeah, do something.
Johnny Zombie. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know what his name is anymore.
Which, by the way, Matt Riddle coming down the scooter. Somebody dubbed The Undertaker's "Rolling, Rolling, Rolling" music.
Oh, I saw that. I said that was great.
Mike sent that. I was dying laughing. Which, by the way, him being in a tag team with Randy Orton has Tina feeling very indifferent. But
like the top with the bottom,
pretty much.
Although, favorite with their least favorite.
Although she does think it's funny that Matt Riddle is singing Orton's music when he's coming out for a singles match like he did on Raw, and then Orton does pose in the corner. Then you see Matt Riddle and behind him just like, hey, doing the same thing. So, thanks everyone for joining us. If you're able to watch us at all, I highly doubt it because YouTube was down for a bit, and then we had some technical issues on our side, but we got it going. If you're watching this on our video on demand, please comment. Let us know your thoughts on Impact UnderSiege and WWE WrestleMania Backlash. Let us know what your rating would be from 0 to 5, what you think of the show. We'll try and call some of those out next week. You can also join the conversation. Again, Twitter at @CCG_WrestleCast at the bottom of the screen under Tommy. Let us know your thoughts on everything we just talked about. Next week, we're going to be previewing AEW Double or Nothing. Arguably their biggest event of the year. It's kind of the anniversary of their first pay-per-view. God, it's been, 2 years now since they debuted? It's crazy. Yeah. Wow. And this one's still going to be at Daly's Place. I know they shortly after this, or in July, I should say, they're planning to get back on the road, going to Miami and then Cedar Park and going beyond there. So,
I think Dallas is after Cedar Park.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice. That's been good. Also, just on a personal note, tomorrow, May 19th, is World IBD Day. As some of you may know, I am patient, a person that lives with Crohn's disease. Be on the lookout for a lot of stuff from the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, myself included, sharing some background on our story. It's been, a little over 3 years since I was diagnosed, but it's a good way to bring awareness to so many people that suffer from Crohn's, colitis, a lot of IBD, irritable bowel diseases. Wrestling wise, of course, Big Swole is the biggest name right now that also has Crohn's disease myself right now, and some legends like George Animal Steel also had Crohn's when he was wrestling.
Crazy.
So yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned that before, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you get diagnosed, you look up, okay, who else has had this before, and you see a whole bunch of names.
Yeah.
Byron Leftwich, I think, as well, also had it too. He played in the NFL with it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We do appreciate you hanging with all the YouTube issues, the technical issues.
Yeah.
And we still got the show going. Yeah.
Actually, real quick before we go, JC, is turnbuckle? Are you able to eat turnbuckle then? Georgia Animal Steel used to eat that a lot. I mean,
if Siete Foods makes me an edible turnbuckle, I could probably eat that because they always make all the stuff I can eat. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Tommy, we're almost done.
Between that and adding WrestleMania to every pay-per-view name, I can't do this anymore today.
Just as long as it's gluten and dairy free, I should be good to go. All right. Thanks, everybody. Over here, we got Tommy.
Vibes. Okay.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be WrestleMania good to each other.
And I'm GC, and as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real. People are
WrestleMania fake.
See y'all next week. Take care.
WrestleMania bye.